working with equivalent equations. Now, equivalent equations are two equations that, if they have the same solution, are considered to be equivalent. Adding or subtracting the same number to each side of the equation produces an equivalent equation. So you guys have worked with problems like this, x plus 3 equals 8 in the past. Today we're going to be working on showing that cancellation step so that as we move into two-step equations in one of our future lessons, we'll understand what we've gotten rid of. Okay, to solve one-step equations that involve addition, we are always going to subtract the constant. That's the standard number from the variable. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you must also do to the other side. So here, when I look at this problem, I have W plus 13.2 equals 10.9. So I am working, when I solve equations, to get this W all by itself on one side of the equal sign, which means I have to do to the opposite to whatever number is there. So here I have a plus or a positive 13.2. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that out so that I can zero out this side and leave it with just the W. So this is showing my cancellation. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I then have to do to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and say minus 13.2. Now, the key thing to remember on this is, now that we're older, we're going to be working with rational numbers and integers, so those positives and negatives. So you're going to have to revert back to stuff that you learned at the beginning of this chapter and chapter 1. So here, when I look at this, I know I'm either adding or subtracting between these numbers, but I have to remember that I'm working with negative numbers here because it's really a negative 13.2. So if I go through and I work this out, I have W left here equals, I have a positive number and a negative number. Those are different. So I'm going to find the difference. So really, I need to go ahead and subtract between these, which means I need to have my 13.2 as my top number. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract like normal off to the side. And yes, you need to do this longhand right now. So we're going to go ahead and, okay, 12 minus 4 gives me 8. 2 minus 0 is 2. And then I have my decimal. Remember, you line up at the decimals. So I've got 2.8 for the digit. I now need to look back and think about, is it going to be positive or negative? So my bigger digit was a negative number, so that's going to make this a negative 2.8. Okay, so we're going to be working with the opposites, just now we're going to be also tying in those positive and negative numbers. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another one. So here I have y plus 12 equals negative 26. So we want to work to get this y so that it just says y equals. So here's our equal sign. We need to work so that we can just get y by itself. So right now we have a positive 12 with it, or a plus 12. The opposite is minus 12, or a negative 12. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Okay, so now when I go ahead and equal this out, I have y left on this side that's not canceled out, equals negative 26 minus 12. So same symbol, find the sum. So this time I'm going to add the digits. I get 38. And then apply the same symbol. It's a negative 38 for our answer. Y equals negative 38. If I want to check myself, I can plug that in. I can either do it longhand, or I can go ahead and use a calculator to check myself, and I can do negative 38 plus 12, and it should give me negative 26. All right, so I want you to try this next one. Okay, here the C is in the second position, so it doesn't matter. You're still going to go ahead and work to get rid of this 15. And you need to think of it as it's a positive 15. So work your way through getting rid of that. Well, if it's a positive 15, then we're going to say a negative 15. Okay, it's not always going to be the opposite of this symbol. It kind of depends. Here it was a positive sign, but had it been a negative, it wouldn't necessarily be the opposite of whatever the symbol is. So here we're going to do minus 15. That's gone. We come to this side of our equal sign and we write the same thing. Okay, we're balancing it. That minus 15 is going off of each side. So now on this side, I have a positive C equals, same symbol, find the sum. So 27, apply the same symbol, negative 27. All right. Okay, here's another example of something that they might do. They may take a variable and put it on the right-hand side of the equal sign. I personally, it doesn't matter, because remember, you're always balancing the equation, so you're still going to work to get D by itself. I personally would rather look at this equation and rewrite it. It's an option that you have. So you could rewrite it by taking everything on one side and switching it to the other if you feel that you need that. But you don't have to. If I rewrote it, it would look like this. D plus 21, so take note, I kept these in the same order, equals negative 16. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and work your way through this one and check to see what you get for a final answer on this one. So you can pause your video, work through on your whiteboards, and see what you get for D, and then check back by restarting the video. You should have ended up with D equals negative 37. Okay, make sure you're showing that cancellation step because that is a requirement. I will not accept just D equals 37. I have to see the canceling out, showing that how you're getting rid of that plus 21 by subtracting it. Okay,